Amy, let me tell you about a magical place that is so exactly designed to be enclosed space, year-round fun for the whole family that I bet you already know what I'm going to say before I even say the name. Let's say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Great Wolf Lodge. You got it, Amy.
My kids loved Great Wolf Lodge when we went. You probably already know that it has a huge indoor water park with a wave pool, lazy river, a bunch of massive water slides. But then your pack can hit the other attractions because, wait, there's more.
Great Wolf Lodge has adventure-packed attractions like Magi Quest, a live-action game kids can play throughout the lodge, plus the Northern Lights Arcade. Spent some quality time there, so your kid who loves the lazy river and your kid who loves fantasy games will both have a great time.
Great Wolf Lodge also offers great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. Unpack the car once and you're settled in to have fun. And with 22 lodges across the country, you're always a short drive away from adventure.
We've both had such great times at Great Wolf Lodge, so bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Learn more at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack.
You pick your horse. What fresh hell?
Laughing in the face of motherhood. Pickle is the greatest of all the Christmas traditions. With Margaret Aples
and Amy Wilson. What can we make with only what's in the junk drawer?
A podcast that solves today's parenting dilemmas
so you don't have to. Everything else is your problem, people. Hello, everyone, and welcome to What Fresh Hell, Laughing in the Face of Motherhood. This is Margaret.
And this is Amy, and this week we are talking about extremely achievable family traditions. I'm ready for this one.
We are very ready to hear all of these very achievable,
easy wins.
We're going to keep it simple, guys. Real simple.
Yeah.
But before we do that, Amy, we're heading straight to the mailbag. Come on, man. We know our routine now. This is like third week in the row.
Mailbag.
I know. We need. If anyone out there is a songwriter, would you write us a mailbag song, please?
This week, we're talking to Anna from Saskatchewan.
Oh, this made me LOL legit. People say LOL all the time, and they just mean like I found that vaguely amusing. I laughed out loud. I did it.
Howled. Right. She's like, up here we have passed Danish baby. We're now into Canadian groundhog. I'm not coming out for 6 more weeks. And she pasted a picture of the weather forecast, 40 below actual temperature. Real feel is like 100 million below zero.
No. My brother-in-law used to have to go there for work, and he said that like you go outside and your eyeball liquid like freezes. Yeah.
You do learn something every day. It was 40 below zero Celsius. So I thought, okay, most of our listeners are US, so I'm going to convert that to Fahrenheit. Apparently, once you get below zero, it's the same. So 40 below Celsius is the same as 40 below Fahrenheit.
What?
I know. I'll put the link in the show notes, guys.
That can't be true.
I confirmed this. It's the same.
Wait.
It's really cold. I guess at that point, it's just like so cold. Who cares? It's cold.
You've rocked my world. How is that even mathematically possible that it's different above and the same below?
I don't know. We would like a theme song, and we would also like a meteorologist.
We have a lot of requests, guys. And also, I want someone... I have a dinosaur poster in my kids' rooms that like tracks like all the, different dinosaurs that emerge in the different, Jurassic period and the other periods. And I want a thing that's like, Danish baby, Canadian groundhog, and like keep going. Like I want to know all of the steps of warmth.
Or cold.
Yeah. Well, I want it to start at like, I don't know what it would be, like fried tomato. That's like 115 degrees, which we get in Texas.
Yeah.
And then I want it to go all the way to like a normal person. And then I want it to start getting cold. And then I want to hit Danish baby. And then I want to hit Canadian groundhog. Canadian groundhog is the absolute outer limit before, I believe, inevitable death, right? Like there's nothing past Canadian groundhog.
There's nothing to do. You're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. And we established last week there already. So this week it's time for some really easy, fun things to do to get us through this last slog towards normal life, hopefully.
I want to say that after last week's episode, we could record that episode 10 more times. That's how we feel all the time. This stinks. We're bored of it. It's horrible. And then it just keeps getting worse. I was just telling Amy that my kids woke up covered in sores, and apparently they've been bitten by fleas. And so, I mean, at that point, like, I'm just like, I'm going to go out and lie in the snow and wait for the sweet release of death. But then my husband was like,
Take me, Canadian groundhog.
no, you're not allowed to do that. You have to come in and put salve on our children who are bitten by fleas. So, I mean, things are terrible. So we thought we would just focus on like, are there small things that make us happy? Let's try for that.
Okay. Teeny tiny things.
And also there is something nice. These are achievable family traditions. And I think that sometimes we mistake, especially in Pinterest world that we all kind of live in now, we mistake being a good parent for creating, epic wonderlands of wonder for our children.
Yeah.
And this is a bit of an Oldilocks alert back in my day. But the movie I think it's called Life is Beautiful, where the Italian actor is in...
Yes. Roberto Benigni.
He's in a concentration camp and he makes the entire thing seem like a game for his child. I feel like sometimes in the pandemic, we think that's our job, is to be like, none of this is going on. And in fact, the wonder of childhood is, look at us. We're creating all this stuff. I think really small, bite-sized, tiny little traditions are what kids remember. So, Amy, do you have things from your childhood that you remember as like fun little family traditions?
Yes. And it occurs to me that, we had Susan Katz-Miller on the holidays talking about holiday traditions for interfaith families. And she sort of underlined that you don't know you're making a tradition always as it's happening.
Exacts.
Like seize the moment. Like you didn't know that like making paper snowflakes would be everything that means February to your child. But since it is, go with it. So something that was a tradition in my family that sort of, I think, happened accidentally and then became must happen. I used to watch when I was growing up every Miss America, Miss Universe, Miss Teen Texas, whatever was on TV. And admittedly, there were fewer options back then. But if there was a beauty pageant on TV, I was on the couch with my grandmother, paper and pencil in hand. And each of us would come up with our own top 10.
I love this.
Yeah, my grandmother was like, they're all beautiful. She'd always, she had to start with that, preemptive statement, they're all beautiful, but my favorite is Miss Minnesota. And then we would go through it. And we always did that. And yeah, that's what I remember.
This is like dads take their sons to the baseball stadium and fill out those little grids. They take their daughters as well.
Right. It was our Super Bowl.
That is what I'm picturing. Like, it's like you and your grandma doing like the baseball. It was your Super Bowl. You were rating the Miss America. I will say that I was also extremely into Miss America when I was a young person.
Pinnacle of achievement.
I thought it was the height of...
Yes.
Sophistication and glamour. Like, it never occurred to me that there was anything untoward about it at all.
Or my grandmother, apparently. Right. They just were beautiful girls.
No, It was a simpler time. Like when we were just like, ladies, put on outfits and parade for us and we will watch you.
Yes.
And we will make a glancing nod to the fact that we believe you're all attractive, but really we will judge you for your attractiveness.
Yes.
I absolutely love that you brought me that memory this morning. I am a little bit crying thinking about how great watching the Miss America pageant was.
And that was extremely achievable. And I probably wouldn't do that with my daughter now, but we watched American Idol last night. And like, that's kind of our tradition. It's like, oh, we have to watch American Idol and you have your favorite. It's kind of the same thing. Like you pick your horse.
Yeah, it's not that different. It's definitely not that different. It's like you put a bunch of people on to like parade their skills and you're like, they're all great, but I like these ones better.
Right. Now it's not who looks best in a bathing suit. It's who has the most tragic backstory, right? And can sing.
And can sing. You got to be a double threat on that one.
But I mean, that's absurdly achievable. Just like put the TV on and you're watching together and that's a tradition. It works for me.
My husband and I were watching one of those, I think it was The Voice, but it was basically like this woman, they cut to her and she was staring out the window and everyone else had these horrible stories. And she was like, last year, my great-grandma died. And we were like, great-grandma, come on, you got to do better than that. Like, her tragic backstory was that her great-grandmother had passed away. I was like, no, doesn't cut it. I don't care how good of a singer you are.
Oh.
Ours, I have so many of these. I will name a couple. One, which wasn't really, it was a sibling tradition, is that we're going all the way back. Because, we grew up in the 70s, so our traditions are all Oldilockses. But my sister and I were obsessed with Charlie's Angels, and we had Huffy bikes, which had the big, long banana seat. I mean, I'm going to have to let our editor know, like, don't play an Oldilocks alert for everything, because there'll be 45 of them, and people...
Her board is lighting up, right? Like, bing, 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 bong, bong.
People will turn this off.
Just consider the whole episode one big.
But my sister and I used to play a game called Charlie's Angels, which was that my mom would put our hair back in a style that looked nothing like the way the Charlie's Angels rode their.
No, their hair was always down when they fought crime.
This style looked nothing like the way that the actual Charlie's Angels wore their hair. This was like a ponytail with just the top hair. I don't know why we thought that was Charlie's Angels. And we rode our Huffy bikes around. And we didn't even like pretend to be fighting crimes. We just did a hairdo and rode our bikes. And that was playing Charlie's Angels.
Playing Charlie's Angels, right. Many happy afternoons.
Oh, the greatest. And then the other one that I was thinking of with this, some people had kind of the similar things, was my dad worked in the city. It was very like that kind of like, Dad's home from work late. You know, we'd often had our dinner. We were in our pajamas, but we would be upstairs in bed. And then he would come upstairs and he would be the tickle monster when he got home. And he would like, chase us around the room. And it was like, we would just always be like, well, Dad be home for Tickle Monster tonight. That was, and so, I'm sure that my parents perceived it as, oh, it's terrible that Dad isn't home for meals and isn't home for this. But what became special was the Tickle Monster, I think that's another good thing to remember about traditions is that sometimes you're so busy looking at what you're missing out on that you're missing the fact that you're creating something kind of cool.
It reminds me of in Little House on the Prairie. In the books, Pa plays Mad Dog. Same thing. He'd get on the floor and he'd ruffle up his hair to make it look all scary. And he just would, growl at the girls and they'd run and scream and hide behind the bed. And they're like, 8x10 house. But that was this delightful, wonderful memory of the sort of 5 minutes he had for them when he was done in the fields.
Right. Yeah. And I wasn't even thinking about it when I thought of it, but it is a good, because I feel like we're all a little like, we're just horrible failures right now. But the fact is, you said it, was it you or was it someone shared on Facebook, the idea that the mom said as a grown up, like, oh, I always felt bad that I would just give up and give you like a plate of cheese and crackers in front of the TV for dinner.
Yeah.
And that the daughter remembered that as like, those were the greatest nights.
Yeah, it was small plates dinner.
Small plates.
Yep.
When mom would give me those little small plates and sit in front of the dinner. And I said something a long time ago on Facebook that I always was like, oh, my mom made us pancakes for dinner when we were kids because she was the greatest mom ever. And then now that I'm a mom, I'm like, oh, she made us pancakes for dinner because she had completely given up. She didn't want to face another meal. But we always thought it was the greatest night of the week whenever we got pancakes for dinner.
Yeah. So this is truly helpful to me right now, this idea that we can find little fun that could somehow become what will be remembered of a year and a half spent inside, with just the five of us. It's pretty great.
I have to congratulate our listeners. We went to Facebook, as we do, to our group there, facebook.com/WhatFrenchHellcast, and find our community there, and asked this question: what are your extremely achievable family traditions? Because we had done the extremely achievable holiday traditions episode. And first of all, I have to give a great shout out to all of our friends on the Facebook page who did not read the instructions and answered with holiday traditions, because you are totally my people, and that is totally how I roll. I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and answer this question, even though I haven't quite read it. But we were looking for family traditions, and a lot of people, and we do this in our house too, Friday night pizza and a movie.
Okay.
Which is a very simple tradition, but something people said, which I realize on some level, but I hadn't really quantified in my head, that it's a great way to transition out of the week. Mm-hmm. So we do Friday nights in our house, judge me if you must, are McDonald's movie nights. Friday nights, we get McDonald's for the kids, and then my husband and I usually get something nice taken, and then we watch a movie together with our food that we enjoy. And I often have the sensation on Fridays where I'm like, oh, it's close to pickup. I got to think about what's for dinner. And then I'm like, oh, no, it's McDonald's movie night. Like, it's always so great. It's heaven.
Yeah. This reminds me, my sister has 4 little boys and her youngest is 3. And he had been saying recently around the house, we're going to have a dance party and there's going to be snacks and candy and you can wear your pajamas, just sort of apropos of nothing, talking about it all the time, right? And they're like, just sort of letting him say it. And she was at the grocery store and somehow that popped into her head, and it was a Friday and it had been a terrible week. And she said, like, we're doing it. And she bought like one bag of candy, one bag of popcorn, came home and wrote on the whiteboard in the kitchen, tonight dance party. And his 3 older brothers are like, wait, it's happening? And she's like, it's happening. Tonight is Steven's dance party, pajamas and snacks.
It's happening. You know that gif from The Office where it's like, it's happening. And everyone starts running like it's happening.
It's happening. And, of course, it was a huge success. Her kids loved it. So did she. She was so glad that she said yes to it. And it's the branding. You know what I mean? It's a bag of popcorn. Like they play on the Wii Just Dance. That's what it was. They played Just Dance together. They played Just Dance together a lot anyway, but somehow saying it's a dance party and here's a bowl of popcorn and everybody has to go turned it into this like the prom in their kids' minds. And so it's using that branding. Let's call it movie night and we're going to sit on the floor under a cozy blanket, makes it special. And it doesn't take much.
And I think, we just did this episode about boundaries, and there's something about how letting your kids every once in a while be like, let's cross them, and then we're going to come back in. There is something about this idea. I mean, we have this sometimes. I was talking about it, I think, on the last episode, that we do something called Kids' Choice Day, which is basically like we're too bored to supervise you anymore, but we call it Kids' Choice. And it's like, it's kids' choice. You can do whatever you want. There's no rules today. I mean, there are rules like you're not allowed to throw each other off the catwalk and stuff, but like there's no rules about screens. There's no rules about anything. And what ends up happening is that they keep basically the same schedule we usually set for them, which is really interesting, but they feel this tremendous amount of freedom. Like, I mean, they play maybe a little bit more video games, but it's like they play 9 hours of video games.
Yeah.
And still like go in and be like, I'm having an ice cream sandwich for breakfast. And they think it's hilarious that they get to do, but they don't eat 17 ice cream sandwiches. The control is sort of there. And so letting them have that freedom every once in a while, I think is super, super fun and rewarding.
I love this. All right. We'll be back with more extremely achievable family traditions. For some of us, tax season is one of the only times that we look at our finances fully. And once it's over, well, that was terrible. And it is completely understandable not to want to think about it for another whole year. But using Monarch and being intentional with your finances in an ongoing way helps you see where your money is going and how you can put your refund to best use.
We are here to tell you, simplify your finances with Monarch. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool designed to make your life easier. It brings your entire financial life, budgeting, accounts and investments, net worth, and future planning together in one dashboard on your phone or laptop.
Feel aware and in control of your finances this tax season and get 50% off your Monarch subscription with code FRESH.
As you know, my husband and I are preparing to send, 3 kids off to college, and I cannot tell you how helpful Monarch has been in showing us our full financial picture, helping us to track our spending and reach important savings milestones. Our weekly meeting, Amy, it's now run by Monarch.
Love it. Achieve your financial goals for good with Monarch, the all-in-one tool that makes money management simple.
Use code FRESH at monarch.com for half off your first year. That's 50% off at monarch.com, code FRESH.
At DSW, we ask the important questions, like, what shoes are you going to wear? Whether you're prepping for wedding season, festival season, or just planning the ultimate vacay, the right shoes can make or break an RSVP. So own the moment. You've got big plans, and we've got just the shoes. At the perfect price, of course. Get ready to get ready with Designer Shoe Warehouse. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today and let us surprise you.
Amy, let's lean in. I put Kate's first because it's just what we're looking for, people. Because sometimes you say achievable family traditions and people are like, we build our own sleds and then ride through the woods. No, that's not achievable, people. Kate's is eating popsicles on the front porch, watching traffic go by. Maybe I just love this one because we've been buried in snow forever now, and the idea of eating a popsicle on the porch is maybe the most appealing thing that I've ever pictured in my entire life. But I think when you think about traditions, I like this starting point.
I love this.
Hey, let's get popsicles and go sit outside and watch traffic.
My big kid version of this is tea. I've been trying in the evenings to, have a really delicious cup of tea that I'm excited about instead of a glass of wine, at least, some of the time. And I find that if I boil the water and I, knock on any of my kids' doors and say, would you like some tea? They're like, yeah, I would. Thanks. And then I make them the tea and I bring it to them while they're, hunkered down doing their homework or playing video games or whatever. And I get like 90 seconds of positive interaction with them. And, it's like a little present. Everybody's happy with, like, I would never make it for myself, but yeah, I would like a cup of tea. And it's just turned into a way to connect with, I sort of pick a different kid each night. And it sounds so small, but I do think, someday they'll be like, I remember sometimes my mom would just bring me tea. Like, it works. It helps.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's like sometimes, and I do think for our own sake too, this is what I was saying about the boundary thing, that it's not fun to always be the bad guy, and it is kind of our job to be the person who helps them set boundaries, to discipline them, to help them, be within the lines. And that's our job. It's very important, that job. But it's also fun for yourself sometimes to be like, hey, I'm also the person who brings the tea. Hey, I'm also the person who sometimes lets you have an ice cream sandwich for breakfast, you know? And it breaks the fire line a little bit. And I'm also sometimes just the person who eats popsicles on the porch with you and we watch cars go by. Like that, it's nice to have those times because sometimes we just feel like, I'm always the bad guy.
You're right. When we're the ones who are in charge of everything, that we get to be the parent who once in a while is like, you know what? Yes to the Happy Meal. Sure. No problem. Why not? Yeah, it's small yes.
Christina has another one that's so simple that I love it. My toddler and I share a bowl of cereal in the evening while we chat about the day before she goes to bed. It's just cute. Like I can so picture it, and I could definitely picture that toddler being like 30 and getting married and being like, the thing I remember the most is the bowls of cereal with my mom. Like that's just very simple and sweet. And I do think we've talked about this about having multiple kids, that it can be really nice to find little traditions that you do with each of your kids, and they can be different. And I know my daughter, sometimes it's a little, this is gendered, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think sometimes it's a little bit easier to find them with girls. Like girls have just a lot more things, maybe because I'm a girl. I don't know. But it's like,
I don't know. I think that women are sort of emotionally wired for connection in a particular way.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I have 7 with my daughter, and then I try to think of ones I have with my sons. And I'm like, I do like yelling at them to pick up their socks. Is that a connection? No. Okay. I got to go back to work on that one. But I think it can be so simple. And I think that's something I want to work on with my boys. It's like, what is a little thing that we do together that's fun? Because I have, like I said, I think I have 10 of them with my daughter.
God, it just occurred to me. We have a tradition that will definitely be remembered years hence, which is we have a dog, Marshmallow, and the kids and I constantly, voice her inner monologue. I won't bore you, but you do a special voice, and she has a special personality, which is extremely different from her actual dog personality. Like she's really self-centered and, and difficult in her, pretend personality. And we go like on and on about it. And I can send my kids, like when they're at school, right? They're going to school sometimes. I can send them a text of, as Marshmallow saying something, and then my kid will send it back to me. And like, these are teenagers with whom I do not always have tons of positive interactions in a day, but they will always answer to that little silly, stupid thing we do together.
And I think what we're saying is like, just seek these out and lean in a little bit, because it can be that simple, right? Which is just finding like a little shared joke that you have, and those things, oh, they're so great. Jackie has the weekend sleep in. I also share this tradition. On weekends, she likes to have one day where she sleeps in. Made this work for my kids when they were toddlers by prepping their milk cups and putting them in the fridge. And I have spoken lovingly in the past. Saturday sleep in has always been a big tradition in our house. You're on your own on Saturdays because mom and dad sleep in. And we don't even sleep in that much. We're often just awake reading our phones in bed, but we don't appear until 8 a.m. on Saturdays, and everything else is your problem, people.
Yeah, sounds wonderful. And worth establishing. And the kids probably like, yeah, we get to watch. I mean, speaking of Goldilocks alerts, back in my day, do you remember getting up early enough to sit in front of the TV on Saturday mornings? I mean, that was your time on Saturday mornings. It was kid TV time. There wasn't YouTube or on demand. We just had to wait for Saturday mornings. And I would sometimes get up so early that there was nothing on yet. Like I hadn't started until 6 a.m. or something, and I would be up and ready. So yeah, the kids like that time of themselves.
Ready to go. I was the opposite. This is so who we are as people, Amy, because I was the opposite. I could never wake up on Saturday mornings. And so It was like I would miss, He-Man, whatever the early...
Miss Scooby-Doo? Oh, no.
I always hated it. Scooby-Doo's horrible, by the way. I hate that show. Still to this day, I hear that stupid Scooby voice. Horrible. So maybe I slept in on purpose. But the big thing was 9 a.m. was the Smurfs. And if I missed the Smurfs, my day was ruined. So I would make my brother and sister promise that they would wake me up for the Smurfs. And then if they forgot, the whole day was ruined. I was furious at them. I was like, And then my sister would be like, here's what Smurfette got up to. And I'm like, I can't even hear it. I missed it. There's no point.
God. I thought Scooby-Doo was the same from one episode to the next, but the Smurfs, I'm not sure anything happened to the Smurfs ever. But still.
Gargamel tried to eat them. They got away every episode. And let me tell you, I was there for it every Saturday. Alicia spent the summer. This was fun. Root beer floats every week. Tried a new brand of root beer to find our favorite. It was really fun.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It's just fun. Lean in.
My brother-in-law did this with chocolate chip cookies. He said, we are going to try this recipe, that recipe, add baking soda, this kind of chocolate, I don't know, and come up with the greatest chocolate chip cookie in the world. It kept them quite busy for a while.
Sam says, and I'm mostly reading this because Sam is clearly from another land, and I love this expression. Sam says, at weekend, we have reading day. I like the idea of reading day, but much more I like saying at weekend.
At weekend, we reading day.
At weekend, we have reading day. Road trips. Kimberly says, whenever we go on a road trip, we always buy lottery tickets. That seems like a kind of a fun.
Oh, my teenagers love lottery tickets. They get them from a particular aunt that they love at Christmas time. And I don't know, something about that, like scratching it off. Like, it's so exciting to these very big kids to have a lottery ticket once in a while.
So we've never really done the Super Bowl because my kids are 8, 10, and 12. And I know there's a lot of kids who are into sport. My kids are not sporty kids and they're not that into sports. But for whatever reason, maybe it was the pandemic. This year we got way into the Super Bowl. Like, we had a menu and we were going to watch it. And also they love that Blinding Lights song that The Weeknd sings. So they knew it was going to be The Weeknd. Ding, 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 ding. They it's a dance or something for Fortnite. Anyway, they were way into it. And then we bought squares because they don't really follow the game. And we weren't into either one of the teams. No offense, Tampa and Kansas people, but we didn't care. And so we bought squares from a local bar. This is our family tradition, getting kids into bar betting early in life. And let me tell you, it made the game much more fun.
Yeah.
Betting is fun. Sorry, guys. That's just the answer.
Yeah, that would be the only way for me to be interested in the football game, is having a random square I was rooting for.
Our road trip tradition is kid DJ, where we do this in the car. You have to have 2 adults because the driver can't really do it. Now my older kid can run it, but kid DJ is, we often travel with the cousins who are, so we have 5 kids in the car and every kid gets to pick a song and then we play that song next. And so then they get way into it. Like the kid's like, I know what I'm going to pick when it's my turn. I know what it's going to pick. And then it becomes sometimes a battle. Like, someone will pick a song just to annoy the other kids. Like, it's a very entertaining thing.
I think this is worth leaning into because our car trips have become, 5 people having an individual experience, like a little bit of fighting over who has to have marshmallow on their lap, but everybody else just wearing headphones. My kids might even download a movie for the car and, I'm listening to a podcast and my husband's listening to a different podcast, or maybe we're listening to the news, but we're just, we're in our, it's like
silos.
Sci-fi movie. Yeah, exactly. We have domes over our heads and we're having individual experiences. And that's not the car trip of our youth, which was annoying and boring and horrible, playing license plate bingo, but we did it together. So I think this is worth keeping going before you turn in my family with 3 teenagers who don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I also think that's fine. I think car trips sometimes fall into that category of I will make them a magical land of whimsy. I just found we have a free cycle board in our town where you put stuff up that's free. I'm giving away this, whatever, old TV, you take it, blah, blah. And we were driving in the beginning of the pandemic, taking a really long drive, and someone was giving away road trip bingo cards where you would everyone would have one in their laps and it was like bingo. You had to find whatever, a mileage sign, whatever, you would have it on your card. And I was like, we're going to play road trip bingo. I mean, I pulled those things out and people were like, that looks horrible. Put it away. And I just gave them back away on the free cycle board. You don't have to make every car trip a magical wonderland. It's fine if everyone wants to watch a movie too. Let's talk about special dinners. This is another thing that, like, what defines a special dinner? It's a very low bar, guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, yo-yo dinner in my house, you're on your own dinner, has become an extremely achievable family tradition that my kids are secretly pretty happy about.
Yeah, I mean, we had people who were setting the table once a week. We, every once in a while, let our kids drink out of wine glasses. My guess is the bloom is coming off this rose now, but like when they were 6, 8, and 10, letting them drink out of fancy, they're like $1 Target wine glasses. They're not fancy. They thought that was just like the most exciting thing in the world, you know?
That's so sweet.
And just simple little zhuzhes to dinner, as Amy would say, is a great way to go. Let's talk about special treat Fridays. Friday is a big day for people. I think Friday, it's right. You're exhausted from the week, and it's like whatever you can think of to make a difference to the days.
Yeah. Pizza is just not making dinner for you, right? And it's Special Treat Friday for your kid.
Molly said we started doing Special Treat Friday. The 5-year-old leads the charge in terms of new ideas. Sometimes we travel far and wide to a new ice cream place. Sometimes it's just a random piece of leftover Halloween candy. Like, it's just a treat. And that's the great thing when you start involving your kids in this, is their idea of a treat is hilarious, you know? I think we worry that if we're like, no rules, they're going to be like, I want to eat the dog. They're not. They're going to be like, can I have one piece of candy before noon? And that's where they're going to go with it. And then Lillian made this point, which I thought was lovely. It made me so nostalgic for my own family tradition. My dad would come home from work every Friday with a 2-liter of Stewart's root beer and a giant bag of Stewart's Ripple potato chips, and we'd have an X-Files party. Only time we had soda in the house outside of holidays. Happy sigh.
Yeah.
I mean, that dad was $4 in on making a memory that his daughter still remembers, you know, so many years later. And that's the magic of this.
That's so great. Okay, we'll be back with more extremely achievable family traditions.
Amy, when I'm having a good hair day, it usually makes my whole day better. And that's why on every day, I'm taking Nutrafol.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand. And it's the #1 hair growth supplement brand personally used by dermatologists. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested.
Nutrafol offers multiple formulas for men and women, tailored to different life stages and lifestyle factors, so you get support that's actually right for you. Adding Nutrafol to your daily routine is easy. Order online, no prescription needed, with automated deliveries and free shipping to keep you on track.
Let your hair be one less thing to worry about. See visibly thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair in 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol.
For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you visit Nutrafol.com and enter promo code LAUGHING.
That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code LAUGHING. All my kids learned to swim when they were little. It was super important to me that they be confident and safe in the water. There was only one problem with that: taking them to swim lessons. I mean, the pools were freezing. There were always cranky adults doing laps right there. And it was definitely not, for any of us, what you would call fun.
Amy, heard. But now there's Goldfish Swim School. Goldfish takes a really thoughtful approach to swim lessons, combining research-based teaching with a warm, kid-friendly environment that actually helps kids thrive in the water.
Every detail at Goldfish is thoughtfully designed to create a golden experience, from shiver-free, warm indoor pools to comfy waiting areas for parents to professionally trained lifeguards on deck.
Goldfish uses an approach called the science of swim play, which combines guided play with proven teaching techniques to help kids learn to swim, build water safety skills, and gain confidence, all at their own pace. Lessons are designed to meet kids exactly where they're at.
If you've been thinking about swim lessons or just wondering where to start, this is a great opportunity. Right now, Goldfish Swim School is offering a waived membership plus your child's first lesson free at participating locations.
Just visit goldfishswimschool.com/free to find a location near you and enroll using promo code FREE.
That's goldfishswimschool.com/free, promo code FREE.
And now, things moms just know in their guts.
From the What Fresh Hell podcast.
When you see a kid scratching their head, it's never dandruff.
It's lice. Listen, it's always lice.
When the school calls, it's not going to be good news.
People, they're not calling to tell you that your kid is doing a great job in math class. Your kid barfed, or maybe pulled the fire alarm.
When toddlers are noisy, it's annoying.
But when toddlers are silent, they're destroying something you cherish. Move quickly.
When your son wants to show you something really cool that he found outside,
There's like a 92% chance that thing is going to be gross and or dead.
that thing that literally no one in your house can find,
If you look, you will find it in under 19 seconds.
no matter how much you think you are ready to own a white couch,
You are not ready to own a white couch. That white blouse, that's not for you either.
this has been Things Moms Just Know in Their Guts.
From the What Fresh Hell podcast. It occurs to me, listening to these traditions, that part of what's fun and part of what will make them memorable is, one, the branding, right? Like we said, like this is Special Treat Friday and like here's a takeout menu. But also the restrictions are kind of part of the point, by which I mean like you're in the car and there's nothing to do. And so you made up a license plate game and that became your tradition. That the restrictions of the car trip or the pandemic cause having to be really resourceful. And that's where the fun comes from.
Yes, agree.
And so, lean into that as well. Like, what can we make with only what's in the junk drawer? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's make a snowman, but we don't have a carrot, so we have to use this instead. And then that becomes the hilarious story.
And there are so many examples of that. That's the lesson of the pandemic, right? That like people recreating famous paintings using like bed sheets,
Yes. Perfect example. Yes.
People are fun, like the restriction is what makes. I had an ex-boyfriend who used to say that all the time, that like ideas are forged in fire, in conflict, so conflict isn't necessarily terrible. Like, and I say all the time in the pandemic, there's something on the other side of boredom. Like restriction and difficulty isn't always a negative.
Yeah.
It is difficult, but it can also be kind of like a crucible where fun things are formed.
It's a crucible. Exactly. That's well said. Justine has a tradition with her little one to look together at her Facebook memories, the photos and videos that come up of his baby pictures. I definitely stop the presses every time Shutterfly says, remember this from 14 years ago? I have to go get whoever's in the picture. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Shutterfly has my number. I'm like,
yes,
nothing else happens until I look at these memories from 13 years ago today. And then do you do the whole thing where you're like, 13 years ago today? Okay. I had just gotten married. I bet I'm pregnant. Like I try to figure it out. Like it's like a little guessing game for me, what it's going to be.
Oh, you try to guess what's going to be in the picture. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had to listen, it's not all day, but I'm just saying I take a moment.
Yeah.
This was a fun one for me from Ella. It reminded me of having little ones, walking breakfast, load them into the wagon and walk around while they're eating. I think it's just so hard in New York because we've been cold and snowed in for a long time. And so, as I keep saying, it's getting a little shining up in my house. We're a little overlook hotel over here. Like we are, you really can't even walk, it's so difficult to get out. But I think when we were skipping meals and stuff, I definitely remember this from having toddlers. The idea of dinner tonight is just heated up, whatever, chicken nuggets, and we're getting in the wagon and walking to the park and you can eat while we're walking there. It's going to kill two birds with one stone. It's our outing and our meal.
Yeah.
And I think meals, those kind of meals, we famously, we keep coming back to the idea, right? Like the disaster is the fun. We had a long time ago, I can't remember my mom dropped the apple pie on Thanksgiving, and it was in a Pyrex, glass pie holder. And so it shattered but it broke in like half. Anyway, she was like, I'm still serving this pie. I made it. And so she was scooping out little bits of the pie that weren't near any broken parts and serving them in mugs. And it's become like a huge tradition in our family to have pie in a cup. It's just like the thing we do now. Because everyone's like, do you want some pie in a cup? And it's like you put pie in a cup and then you put ice cream on top and it's heaven. Like what is the greatest invention ever? And it's just because my mom dropped a pie 35, 40 years ago. Pie in a cup.
It's made in a crucible.
Yeah.
I remember one time my kids were little. I mean, we had definitely had nobody in kindergarten yet. And we were stuck in an airport for 5 hours that we knew of, right? The plane is delayed 5
hours. And so we're at the airport, and I mean, talk about a crucible, right? And so it just was this moment where mom was going to say yes, like the gift shop, they never get to go in. Yes, we can spend as much time as you want in the gift shop, but we did that. And then I still had 4 hours and 40 minutes to go. So I sat down and I made a scavenger hunt and, wrote it in, fancy letters at the top, scavenger hunt. And I presented it to my 2 little boys who are 3 and 4. And I mean, the seriousness with which they undertook this, I had to be like, find a man in a hat, find the letter Q on a sign. It had to be like really easy stuff for little kids. They loved it. And of course I went with them on the scavenger hunt. And then of course, then I had to sit down and create another one because they finished it. And it was like the best idea I ever had. The 5 hours flew by. I think it was for them like a wonderful way to spend a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, sitting in an airport terminal.
Yeah.
And I think that this is an idea. Amy has one. We have 2 old tin jars that we put leftover change in. When they are full, we turn them into the bank and use some of the money to go get ice cream. And I think that what you're reminding me about with the scavenger hunt and the ice cream is a lot of this is learning too. This is good. I feel like sometimes we feel like I should be running multiplication drills with my kids all day. I should be X, Y, and Zing. And there is so much learning and joy just around us in life. And turning coins into money for ice cream there's like 6 different lessons in there, right? What are the values of each of these coins and, how much are they worth? And this big thing of coins equals $20. And then we can use part of it to get ice cream. Like you're learning a ton of stuff in that fun little experience that your kids remember as ice cream. And I think I tend to get a little bit hung up on the thing of, am I doing enough? And baking is that way, and caring for an animal is that way. And there are so many things that we are already doing. Like you're already doing all of the things that are good for kids. So don't worry about like looking at Pinterest and being like, I'm not making like homemade burlap napkins with everyone's name on them for mealtime.
Right.
Because that's so whimsical, and I'm not whimsical. I'm lame. Like you're not lame. You're fine.
But you have pizza every Friday night. And so you're doing something super fun. Yeah.
That's super, super fun.
Yeah, you just turn it up. Just underline it and turn it up a little bit.
Are you ready for a super random, Amy?
Sure.
I mean, this is the kind of thing that I'm going to say. This happens all the time on the podcast, and I love it. I'm going to be like, this is the most random thing I've ever heard of. And then everyone on the Facebook page is going to be like, what are you talking about? That's what we all do. And I think it's a regional thing, maybe.
Like the pickle ornament from our holiday.
The pickle ornament.
Yeah, apparently.
We were both like, what the heck is going on? There's no such thing as a pickle ornament. And many, many people were like, what are you talking about? The pickle is the greatest of all the Christmas traditions. Heather says, this may be more lazy than anything, but we have a tradition of saving our Christmas tree until July and then burning it on the 4th in our backyard. This took a lot of twists for me. I did not see it coming. I'm trying to, this definitely, my husband is a Texan, as you know, and this definitely sounds like something Texas people would get up to. Like, well, we do the old burning of the old Christmas tree.
Deep fry the turkey.
Yeah, we deep fry the turkey, then we light the Christmas tree on fire on July 4th.
Where is the tree? Where is the tree staying until the 4th of July?
This is an excellent, Heather, we need some follow-up. Please get with us on Facebook.
Not in your house, right?
Where is the tree the rest of the year? I'm going to assume it's outside.
But if it gets wet, then it won't burn. It'll just smoke. What kind of 4th of July?
Amy, have you met nature? The trees burn even though they get wet.
I guess so.
No. It's not a problem if they get wet. I mean...
Oh, right. A whole tree. It's when they chop up that they can't get wet. Yeah. Like a cord of firewood. You don't want that to get wet.
Yeah. No. I mean, a tree will burn even if it's been wet. But... And then this is the other reason why I think she lives in Texas. Like my guess is, but in Texas, like it's so hot that my guess is the tree would just light on fire itself on July 4th. You probably wouldn't even have to do much to it. But Heather, we have follow-up questions. Please clarify some of these things. And guys, if anyone else is out there burning their Christmas trees on July 4th, we need to know. Is this happening in our country? We don't understand it.
I'm not even sure that's extremely achievable.
Amy, I would not recommend this in your New York City apartment.
No.
You're like, guys, new family tradition. We're going to light the tree on fire on July 4th.
What about game nights? Heather says, we have game night once a month and the kids have kiddie cocktails while we listen to some good tunes. The winner of each game gets to pick the next game. This sounds great, but when they get to be big kids, like I have 2 kids who love to play board games and I do too, but they're endless. Like they're like Monopoly level, endless games. So it needs to be like Chutes and Ladders.
I hate games. Oh, I wish I liked them. I force myself to play them with my kids, but I really dislike them. I dislike gaming.
I'm going to put a shout out in for Quirkle, which is a game that I find that anybody from, say, like 5 and up can play and might beat you. Like, it's about like visual patterns. And so some people are just better at it than others, but it's a game that 2 people can play or 10 people can play. And, there's enough luck involved in it too, that you can get a little bit detached from being competitive.
I can't, but I like that you can.
Monopoly is just like, it gets way too important. And yeah, I don't love those.
I need to schedule a Zoom with you where you explain that game to me, because we own that game. I've also said on the podcast, I am lacking some lane in my brain where I can read the instructions of a game and then play it successfully. I just cannot get, it seems so complicated. And then the dragon, and you flip the dragon card and you get powers. I'm like, get me out of this.
I'm going to put a link to the show notes. There was something on Reddit recently that I found hilarious. It was a thread kind of related to this about board games. In your house, what are your special traditions, rules? In Uno, the wild card is actually a 2, whatever it is, that make games more fun in your house. And there are some really funny ideas on there. Even if you don't do them, it's just funny to read.
There's no way Uno could ever be fun, but I accept the premise. I mean, I don't mind like charades, active games like Pictionary. I'm okay with those. I just don't like sitting around and turning cards over that are like, now you're a wizard. Like, I just, I don't want to. Let's finish with a simple one that reminded me of a tradition that we had.
Yeah.
Saying goodbye to Dad in the morning. Anna says that, sweet and simple, we wave goodbye to Papa out the window every morning when he leaves for work. My husband flickers the lights on his truck and honks the horn. And there's just something very funny and sweet about that. My dad used to have, we're going to finish with an oldie Loxler as we started, but the musical, A Chorus Line, back in my day, which I don't know how many people still know, but it was a very popular musical in the olden times. But there was song in it that said, kiss today goodbye, the gift was ours to borrow, right? Those are the actual lyrics.
Sounds right.
Oh no, it was, and point me towards tomorrow. There's one of the lines is,
and point me towards tomorrow. Yes
point me to, that's it, because now I'm remembering the lyrics. So my dad in the morning used to sing this song. He would sing the chorus line notes and sing the song, kiss the dad goodbye, and point him towards the city because he was getting on the train. And like, it's so corny, but like every once in a while, one of us will still like just sing it randomly. Like, it's just, what I want to get to with this is like, it's the smallest things that you still remember. It's not the big things. It's not the like, yes, your life is like a tapestry where you're like, I can always picture my mom there at the early morning practices, but there's nothing on Pinterest that is better than like making up a funny song when you leave for work. There's nothing else out there that's better than the small funny things that you guys are coming up with as families.
This is the perfect moment, right? Where we're all like home together more, to find the tiniest things that we're doing and sort of circle them in red pencil with a name or a theme song or a thing we always do first, and create some happiness out of that.
Some happiness. Because the other thing I think that's very crucial is like, these don't solve your problems. These don't make life okay. You don't come in from waving goodbye to Dad and he flicks the lights and you have a perfect day because you found the solution. But that is part of the tapestry of your kids' day, so that when you yell later on and when you burn the lunch and stuff, your kid's going to remember that moment you spent together.
Right.
Goodbye to Dad more than they're going to remember like, it was terrible because Mom yelled because she was in a bad mood.
Right. And they know that it's coming tomorrow, or that pizza's coming Friday, right? That it'll happen again. That keeps us going, that the good time will come back.
Hold on to them right now, guys. We are slogging through.
Solved it.
Every week is lighter. Every week is closer to freedom. So let's just keep on with the small traditions and keep on keeping on.
I want to give a shout out to our Pinterest page. We're on Pinterest at What Fresh Hellcast. We put up all our episodes in there, but we also pin other fun stuff. So I'll find some good family traditions and pin them in the coming weeks, and I hope to see you over there.
Love it. We will see you on Pinterest, guys. And until we talk to you next time, have a great, or at least a passable and survivable week. Let's go with that.
Sounds good. Talk to you then.
This is a Monday.com ad. The same Monday.com designed for every team. The same Monday.com with built-in AI, scaling your work from day one. The same Monday.com with an easy and intuitive setup. Go to Monday.com and try it for free.